The star in this photograph is 14.5 billion years old. The universe it lives in is 13.8 billion years old. Hubble found it, measured it, and the number refused to move. So which number is wrong? That point of light sits 200 light years away, close enough to find with cheap binoculars tonight, and for over a decade, it has split the people who measure the sky into three camps. The Hubble team that clocked it at 14.5 billion years, the modelers who tore that math apart and got 12 billion years, and the cosmologists who now say the universe's own birth certificate might be the document that is wrong. A star cannot be older than everything that exists. Yet the most careful age measurement ever made of a single star says exactly that. And the more precisely anyone measured, the stranger this star became. Start with what anyone can check. The star has a name, HD 140283, a catalog entry like a case number. It sits in the constellation Libra, about 200 light years from your roof. Ordinary binoculars will show it to you tonight as a faint point, magnitude 7.2, just below what the naked eye can pick up. And it is moving, not drifting. Moving at roughly 1.3 million kilometers per hour relative to us, fast enough to cross the visible face of the full moon in about 1,500 years, which in astronomy is a sprint. Stars born alongside the sun do not move like that. Fast stars like this belong to the halo, the thin scatter of ancient stars that surrounds the Milky Way like mist around a city. The second line in the file is stranger. When astronomers split this star's light and read what it is made of, they found almost nothing but hydrogen and helium. The iron content is about 1/250th of the sun's. That matters because iron is manufactured. Stars forge it, explode, and seed the next generation. A star with almost no iron had almost no ancestors. It formed from gas that only existed at the very beginning. So before anyone argued about its age, the ingredients had already spoken. If you want to keep score on this case, subscribe now, because this channel does one thing: real objects with numbers that should not exist. Exactly how old is this thing? In 1951, two astronomers opened that question like a sealed evidence bag. A star does not come with a birth certificate, but it does come with a fuel gauge. Stars burn hydrogen at a rate set by their size. Watch how bright one burns, and physics tells you how long the tank has been draining. Brightness plus distance equals age. The method is old, boring, and very hard to fool. The catch is the word distance. A star can look faint because it is dying or because it is far. Until you nail the distance, the age is a guess wearing a lab coat. The file opened in 1951 when Joseph Chamberlain and Lawrence Aller published the first careful reading of its chemistry and showed the metal poverty was real. Every attempt to date it returned uncomfortable numbers. By the 1990s, the estimates were landing near 16 billion years. 16. At the time, the universe itself had no settled age, and none of the numbers in circulation were that big. The oldest object in the sky was reading older than the sky. The polite explanation was a sloppy distance. Then the precision era arrived. Satellites began measuring stellar distances by parallax, the wobble trick. Hold out your thumb, close one eye, then the other, and your thumb jumps against the wall. The Earth does the same thing every 6 months, swinging from one side of the sun to the other, and nearby stars jump against the background. Measure the jump, and geometry hands you the distance. The Hipparcos satellite did this in the 1990s and put the star at just under 190 light years. The age came down from 16, but not enough. It stayed pressed against the age of the universe, error bars dangling over the line like a foot over a cliff edge. The problem survived precision. So one of the most experienced stellar astronomers alive decided to settle it with the most precise distance measurement ever attempted on a single star. His name was Howard Bond. He pointed Hubble at it. Hubble was never designed to be a measuring tape. Bond's team used a part of the telescope most people have never heard of, the fine guidance sensors, the instruments that normally just hold it steady. The wobble they were measuring is about 17 thousandths of an arcsecond. That is roughly the width of a coin seen from 300 kilometers away. Hubble watched the star swing through that tiny arc, season after season, for years. The result came out in 2013 in the Astrophysical Journal Letters. Distance: about 190 light-years locked down to better than 1%. With the distance pinned, the fuel gauge reading fell out of the equations on its own. 14.46 billion years. The universe, by the best measurement we have, is 13.8 billion years. Not roughly. 13.79, with an error bar of about 20 million years. The Planck satellite read that number out of the oldest light in existence, the afterglow of the beginning itself, and almost nobody in the field doubts it. So the most precise age ever assigned to a single star came out about 700 million years older than everything. Not a fringe paper. Howard Bond, a career measured in decades, with Hubble data attached. If this case file is earning its keep, the like button is the cheapest verdict you will ever deliver. Detail: Bond's team wrote the uncertainty into the headline, 14.46 billion years plus or minus 0.31 billion years from the measurement, and once every modeling assumption was stacked in, closer to plus or minus 0.8 billion years. Hold that number. Because there are only three ways out. The star's age is wrong. The universe's age is wrong. Or the error bars quietly bridge the gap and everyone is arguing over a ghost. Door number 1 says the star's age is wrong, and the argument is simple. A parallax distance is clean geometry, but an age comes out of a model of how stars burn, and a model eats assumptions the way a furnace eats coal. Start with oxygen. The age calculation depends on how much oxygen is mixed into the star, because oxygen changes how the burning runs. But this star is so metal poor that its oxygen can only be read indirectly, from faint fingerprints in its light, and different teams read those fingerprints differently. Nudge the oxygen up, and the age drops by hundreds of millions of years. Nudge it down, it climbs. One ingredient, read through a keyhole, moves the answer by more than the entire gap. Then there is the star's internal plumbing, how it mixes its own material in a body with almost no heavy elements. The models are calibrated on stars like the Sun, metal-rich, young, ordinary. Asking a Sun-calibrated model to date the oldest star in the sky is asking a tailor who has only ever measured adults to guess an infant's age from a jacket. Bond's defenses. Answer that all of this was priced in. That is what the plus or minus 0.8 was for. Take the bottom of the range, 13.66 billion, and the star squeaks in just under 13.8. No paradox, just a star born absurdly early and measured honestly. But notice what that defense costs. It works only if every assumption breaks in the kind direction at once. So here is the first question for the comments, and be specific. Door 1. The models are off, and this star is younger than it looks. Convincing or convenient? Because in 2021, a team went through that door with a wrecking ball, and it did not close the case. It split it open. The rebuild came from Janling Tang and Meredith Joyce, published in the Astrophysical Journal in 2021. They built fresh models of this specific star and dated it again. Their answer landed near 12 billion years. Comfortably younger than the universe. Case closed, according to Door 1. Except look at what just happened across 70 years. In the 1990s, the star read 16 billion years. Bond's Hubble measurement said 14.5 billion years. The 2021 rebuild said about 12 billion years. The star did not change. Every drop in that number is us, correcting ourselves, and each correction was announced with confidence while it was busy being replaced. Then the distance moved again. The Gaia mission, a European satellite mapping the galaxy, re-measured the parallax. The new distance came out near 201 light years, 11 light years farther than the number Bond's age was built on. A farther star is brighter than you thought, and the age shifts again. Almost every documentary about this object still says 190 light years. The current best map of the galaxy says they are out of date. If you have ever suspected that science is less a marble statue and more a building under permanent renovation, this is your vindication. And it is worth sharing with the one person you know who thinks every textbook number is final. But one detail refuses to sit down. The 12 billion year rebuild and the 14.5 billion year measurement disagree by 2.5 billion years. Two competent teams, the same star, separated by a span longer than the age of the Earth. And while the stellar people argued, a second argument was breaking open one floor up. The bedrock number itself, 13.8 billion, developed a crack. The universe's age is not measured with a clock. It is calculated from a speed. Measure how fast space is expanding, run the film backward, and you arrive at the moment everything was in one place. That expansion speed, the Hubble constant, is now the most fought-over number in science. Two ways to get it. Read the afterglow of the Big Bang, the baby picture, and calculate forward. The Planck satellite did that and got 67.4, with a tiny error bar. Or measure the actual universe around us today and clock the expansion directly. A team led by Nobel laureate Adam Rees has spent years doing exactly that, and they keep getting 73, plus or minus 1. Those two numbers refuse to meet. After a decade of attacks, the mismatch stands at the level statisticians call 5 sigma. The odds of it being a fluke are about 1 in a few million. The baby picture and the adult universe disagree about how fast the universe grows. Here is why that lands in our star's case file. If the faster, locally measured expansion is the true one, the film rewinds quicker, and the universe comes out younger than 13.8 billion years. Younger. The one fixed wall this investigation leaned against starts to slide. The star's defenders no longer need to win their argument. The prosecution's ruler is under investigation, and the telescope evidence keeps piling in. The James Webb Telescope keeps photographing galaxies that look too built, too soon. One of them was confirmed at a distance where we see it as, it was about 290 million years after the beginning, already shining brighter than it has any right to. And this is not abstract. Every point of light you see tonight is old light. The light from our star left it around the time the first railways were being laid. You have never seen the universe as it is, only as it was. So cast your vote in the comments and defend it. The star is wrong, the universe is wrong, or both. There is a fourth option. It is the one nobody likes. The fourth option is that nothing is broken and nobody gets to be right. Walk the error bars through it. The star, 14.46, minus the full 0.8, gives 13.66. The universe, 13.79. The star fits under the ceiling with about 130 million years to spare. On paper, the paradox evaporates. That is the consensus position, and no published measurement requires this star to be older than the universe. The headline version of this story, taken literally, is false. But the consensus should make you more uneasy, not less. It means the oldest object we can date and the age of everything are separated by less than 1%. The first stars were not supposed to light up at the stroke of the beginning. Gas had to cool, gravity had to gather it. Models put the earliest stars a couple 100 million years in. Our star, under the most forgiving reading, was burning almost immediately after that window opened, 200 light years from your house. The charitable reading does not give you a normal star. It gives you a founding citizen of the universe parked in our suburb. What would close the case? 3 things, all in motion. A clean, direct reading of the star's oxygen. The next data releases from Gaia, pinning the distance even harder. And a resolution of the expansion fight, because until the universe's own age stops wobbling, the ceiling this star keeps bumping into is made of rubber. There are live outcomes on the table where this faint star in Libra forces a rewrite of cosmic history. Last comment assignment, the real one. These teams spent 70 years and the world's best instruments to end up 2.5 billion years apart. What is the oldest thing in your own life you have personally dated wrong, and by how much? Read the replies. They will be better than the physics. There is a black hole, 4 million times the mass of the sun at the center of our galaxy, and the strangest fact about it is how quiet it is. That case file is already waiting on this channel. Tonight, stay with the star. The photograph from the beginning of the story has not changed. A faint point in Libra, falling through our neighborhood at 1.3 million kilometers per hour. It was burning before the Milky Way finished assembling itself. It was old before the sun was a rumor in a gas cloud. It will still be burning long after every scientist in this story and everyone watching this video is gone. The argument is ours, not its. And the argument is the point. 16 billion became 14.5, became 12, became... It depends on the oxygen. 190 light years became 201. 13.8. The one number that was supposed to hold still is defended by one set of instruments and contradicted by another at odds of millions to 1. Every correction moved the answer. That is not science failing. That is what science looks like from inside before the textbook gets printed. So here is the closing image the case deserves. 2 clocks on a wall. One belongs to a small, iron-starved star that was there before nearly everything. One belongs to the universe itself, read out of the oldest light that exists. They show different times. 70 years of measurement have not made them agree. One of them, maybe both, is running wrong, and as of tonight, no one on Earth knows which. The next time someone tells you science has the universe figured out, point them at a faint star in Libra and ask them what time it is. There is also a spacecraft, the most distant object human hands have ever built, whose signal is fading toward a final silence, and what happens in its last hour is already written. That file opens soon. The star will be over your roof tonight. 14.5 billion years old, or 12, or just barely possible. Pick your door. It has time to wait while you decide.